This is the Workplace Ninja podcast, coming to you live from our summit in Baden with highlights, insights, and interviews.
Good morning and welcome back at day 2 of the Workplace Ninja Summit here in Baden. Hayit.
Good morning. Day 2 is awesome. It's kicking off great. We have an awesome keynote this morning.
Yeah.
And with that, we got two great
people on the table.
Yeah, people on the table from the keynote.
Scott and Christian, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And for who doesn't know you, I don't think there are anyone watching who doesn't know you, but to be really short.
But just in case.
Yeah.
Sure, Christiaan, why don't you go first?
Well, I don't know if I need to think about it in a good or a bad way, but I'm taking it from the good side here. No, that was just a joke, of course. I'm Christiaan Brinkhoff. I'm a principal program manager on the Windows Cloud Experiences team, which is the Windows 365 and AVD team consolidated in one as well, RDS. And I'm part of a team in that team that owns and drives Windows integrations, Windows end-user experiences, and cloud coming and blend the experiences together. So really blessed to be part of a team and be part of a team with Scott as well, which is next to me.
Yes, thank you. So I'm Scott Manchester. I'm the Vice President of Product for Windows 365 AVD and RDS. Been at Microsoft for about 23 years and spent most of that time working in related technologies, networking and media, and even worked on an early incubation product at Microsoft for game streaming that later became our Xbox streaming service. And then had the great honor to work with Christiaan and another huge group of virtualization experts at Microsoft over the last decade or so to bring AVD and Windows 365 to market. So pretty exciting to get here and be with this community here because as we mentioned in the keynote this morning, it's a big part of what we built is really driven by feedback from folks at you here and the rest of the community here at this event.
Yeah, to be here and to have a keynote on the second day, what was the main message that you have delivered in that keynote to the audience here?
Well, obviously we have a lot of great things to share about the success the products have seen in market. We are able to share the recently released Gartner report on the Magic Quadrant report for desktop as a service. And both of our two products that we're really spending our time on here today, Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365, are part of that suite of offerings that were evaluated by Gartner. And we're able to demonstrate how we took a very strong leadership position in that Magic Quadrant report. Really reflects the voice of the customer and partner and the community that's helped us shape these products. So it was interesting to be here with the community that really provides the input and feedback to us that help build the product and share collectively what we've done, what we've built, and what is it really, the effort that the community puts in to give us feedback and help us shape the product, how that actually turns into really successful results. So these kind of events are really great. Oftentimes we're presenting to people that are just consumers of the product, to be here with the people that use it every day and really help customers find success, or even the customers that are here to learn about it. These are the ones that we really enjoy the most, and to get a chance to connect with those folks.
Yeah, and there was a few things to mention about new things that are publicly available at the moment. What are the new things that happens in the last few months within probably for Windows 365 or AVD?
Yeah, I can take that one, and it's kind of good timing as well because we are here at the Workplace Ninja event, and last Tuesday we went GA with Windows 365 boot and switch. Yeah. So what that means is that just on Windows updates, you can just get those features now. So it has been a great journey working with Windows, Intune, our team, as well as other like Shell team and components in Windows to bring it all together and go into a GA phase. So it has been a journey of 2 years, and that just like last Tuesday shipped GA. So that's one of the recent ones. But of course, way more features have been shipped so far. Tomorrow we will go GA with our resize feature. So once you're kind of getting this published, you will see that as well. So quick spoiler there. So that's a good one to mention. As part of boot and switch, specifically boot, we also built an integrated Intune experience. We call it a guided flow scenario. Just in 5 simple steps, you go through it, and then you deploy the boot experience to the endpoint. And boot is really, for the folks that don't know what boot is, the word is, of course, a little bit alluding to what experience is, but you boot from not in your local PC, but in your cloud PC from a Windows 11 PC. So we really removed all the friction layers of virtualization and go straight into from the Windows 11 logon screen. And you asked as well what's coming us in the future a little bit. Like, imagine as well beyond that. Like, this is like an OS experience, right? Very nice, very good on Windows 11. And Harjit, you know, as nobody else, what Windows 11 and the benefits of Windows 11 are. But think beyond it as well, right? Think beyond the OS layer as well. And that's really where you should think in the future of Windows 365 laying out. Because we are part of Windows now. So we are an organization that builds and ships Windows every day.
Yeah.
And you know, the to focus on back to the boot and switch, you know, the benefits there for boot, especially for shared PC, right, scenarios, right? So when you have multi-users and stuff like that, they're just getting right into their own space, own environment, own, and they can be productive immediately. And then switch is brilliant for BYOD scenarios. You know, corporate and personal is kept separate, and you can flip back and forth. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
And it's all in the shell, right? So all those experiences are in Windows. That's unique, never happened before. And that's one of the reasons what Scott pointed out put us in a leading position by Gartner as well, because we have all the layers and we can bring it all together and create a blended experience there.
Yeah, there was some jokes about the Gartner quadrant in the last few days because Endpoint Manager and also within the end user computing, Microsoft is doing really well. As we can say, I think, within desktop as a service, it's one of the biggest leaders, not only in terms of leadership, but also on what we deliver already and what people can use. But from boot perspective, it's basically on a physical device that you can boot into your cloud PC.
That's correct.
So I think that's awesome. So we need very little resources on a physical device, and then we can use a GPU managed workload, for example, or others to do my day job.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people may think like, oh, Windows 365 is something different or whatever. It's Windows 11, right?
Yeah.
So you're using cloud PC and you're getting all the benefits of Windows 11. Everything that you have on your regular desktop is in the cloud. So accessibility features, all sorts of all the features that a day-to-day, you know, information worker needs to use. It's there.
One quick thing I want to mention here, just to lay out a little bit the vision of where the product is heading and where we are already today, is that we really move from buying compute, like physical compute, that lays out like the next 3 or 5 years of your experience, right? To more computing, like constantly getting extra resources and give that constant like experience factor and productivity layer just coming from a subscription-based model, which is Windows 365, right? So removing the boundaries of physical hardware, that's really where you should think about Windows 365.
And we should probably also mention, you know, that Gartner MQ was a collection of all of our technologies, so Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. And the Windows 365 is our newest product in this category and certainly shaking the market up by providing this full SaaS-based solution. We still see Azure Virtual Desktop as a powerful tool for many organizations, and there's been a lot of innovation still happening in that product too. So the good news is they're both based on the same platform. So Windows 365 sits on top of Azure Virtual Desktop. So as we add Azure Virtual Desktop features, they then light up inside of Windows 365 as well. So as a unified team owning both products, we can innovate and build new technologies like single sign-on and all these rich redirection capabilities, hybrid computing experiences, put it in the platform and immediately shows up in AVD and Windows 365. And that's part of the reason, I think, by having this suite of offerings. AVD, that's this taking the constructs of VDI and bringing it to the cloud, and then this full SaaS solution where you don't need any virtualization experience, that it just extends the capabilities of Intune, which, as you mentioned, you know, we had a joke yesterday's keynote that the Gartner MQ, basically they stopped publishing it because Microsoft became such a significant leader in the space, it became irrelevant. We hope to get there with our MQ on desktop as a service as well, but we certainly have a really great start. Intune started way down in the lower left and worked their way all the way up to the upper left. We have a bit of a head start already starting in a leadership role, but it really is the combination of both products. And many of the folks, especially at an event like this, that have long history of virtualization and really understand those constructs of VDI, often find AVD as a very powerful tool for them. But then there's everybody else, right? As we talked about in the keynote this morning, to really reach the broad mass of customers out there and the broad use cases, having a combination of both is really important. So we're excited to continue to innovate on both products. Christiaan is very close to the Windows 365 experience, as he mentioned. In fact, he's a bit of being a little modest. He's actually the product manager that led the development of both boot and switch. So it's a pretty proud moment for him to see both those projects that took just incredible amount of effort working across the entire Windows organization, because it really was touching code in the kernel of Windows and the shell of Windows. Tons of additional capabilities required to deliver those unique experiences. And many of those out there listening probably thought, well, we've had these boot to experiences for a long time. We've had these thin client devices or zero client devices, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things we highlighted in the keynote this morning is we get that. We understand that this is not necessarily completely unique, but what is unique about it is it's a Windows 11 device that through Intune and that guided flow that Christiaan mentioned, can click a couple buttons and turn a full thick Windows client into a thin client. And what you mentioned earlier, for hot desking kind of scenarios, right? I can just put one of these devices that have been configured to boot right to Windows 365 on a desk, and anybody can come in, log in with their personal credentials, and it boots straight into their cloud PC, bypassing the local shell. And I log off, and the next person comes over, and they log in, and they get their personalized cloud PC. So today's world, like around Microsoft, this is the most common thing now. Like very few people actually have offices. There's common spaces for people to come work, or offices that have devices sitting there. So we have, these scenarios where I can simply just walk in, I don't have to carry anything with me to work, log in and get my personal cloud PC experience to me. So really exciting stuff, really transformational.
The landscape is evolving really fast. If I look back, we were in the end-user computing already a few years, and then there was VDI, there was remote desktop based on Citrix, on VMware, on other vendors as well. But if you see nowadays, with Windows 365, it's changing the landscape so rapidly. And if you see what end users are consuming and what they need, so probably we're doing a good job, I guess, because all the MQ things as well, but also from an end user perspective, they need something and we can deliver it. And also from a modern workplace thing, because of that integration with boot and switch, for example, I think that is the way forward in the end. And that's what we needed.
Well, one of the things, before we started actually building the product, we created some principles of the product, and 2 principles that are kind of exactly what you just said were loved by users and trusted by IT. So great end user experiences, great IT admin experiences as well. So Intune already does that kind of out of the box, so we can use that tooling for us, so pretty easy, and then build new unique Windows experiences to deliver on that promise as well.
And if I want to start as an end user or a company, if I want to start with Windows 365 or AVD, what do I need to do? Need I buy a book or what else?
It doesn't hurt.
Well, everybody that is in tech, IT pros like yourself, books are still I still read a lot of books, like physical books, and the way how to consume information is different than like 10 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. It's no longer you go to like a training center and then you go in for a week and go out and then you're done and you get your certificate. It's like constant learning right now. Yep. And books are still super important as part of that. So what we did is that over the last 7 months, we wrote a book called Mastering Windows 365. So Scott has been one of the forward writers, and the other co-writers are Sandeep Patnaik from our team, as well as Morten Petholt, which is another MVP. So great to have that here at this event. The announcement happened just 2 hours ago. And if you're interested in that and go super deep from zero to hero and become that Windows 365 expert, you don't need that much knowledge, to be honest, but still there's lots of things to learn, of course, about the end user experience, the vision, and what the vision will be in terms of laying out new experiences in the future. So if you go to aka.ms/mastering W365, you go straight to the Amazon bookstore, and it's available in all regions. So wherever you are,
But it's
India,
not.
US.
It's not only the books, right? We also internally through Microsoft, we also offer many other resources like your in the cloud, shows, right? We got AMAs, we got tech community lives and things like that, right? We've been doing a lot of those things to help the community with information, with resources, with learning. And I like what you said, right? Like the concept of how we used to learn has changed now. I feel like it's like learning as a service, right? It's like constantly every day something's different, something's new. You gotta, keep up with it.
Well, it's the growth mindset, right? That's
Yeah.
what it is.
What
Yeah.
an exciting time to be part of this community, right? I mean, many of us have been in this industry for a long time, and it felt like for many years things just kind of slowly move forward, just kind of
Right.
lumbering along, and to have an opportunity to really drive innovation and to really bring energy to this community, bring energy to this technology space. And many of us made a commitment like, okay, I'm a virtualization guy and I'm going to ride this wave no matter where it goes, right? And I'll be here through the good times and the bad times. And as I mentioned in the keynote this morning, right, like most of the people in that room should have had capes on because they were the heroes that saved so many organizations
Right.
when COVID hit, and organizations that weren't prepared, were suddenly thrust into the situation where, tell me about this virtualization thing again.
Yeah.
How do I get these
yeah.
people that are now at home to get secure access to my corporate environment? And we're like, so now you want to talk to me, right?
Right.
You want to come down to the IT department in the basement and come find about this virtualization technology.
Yeah.
Right?
Couple of things I want to ask either one of you. It's like one, talk about how we our relationship with with our partners, right? We do work very closely with our partners. Two, what I really I'm also excited about is frontline worker, and that also just recently came out. So when I hit those couple of points.
Sure. Do you want to take frontline or partner?
Yeah, let's start maybe with frontline. So first of all, I want to demystify frontline as part of the wording, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the Windows 365 frontline product focuses on frontline use cases, but also information worker use cases. So we give a user 3 cloud PCs for for one license. It's a little bit more than just the price of a normal license, but definitely way cheaper than just purchasing 3 separate ones.
Yep.
And what we did there is that we made it possible to create 3 personal cloud PCs, one active one at the same time, but we created a whole new way of using your license for different use cases like shift workers. Think about follow the sun models where you have different regions and time zones that don't overlap. Think about US and India or in Asia, that you can just use one license that you purchase and then you spread it over 3 users, right? So very, very new kind of way of doing innovation in an area that has been left out a little bit, right? Virtualization for frontline workers and purpose-built experience. Like we, for example, created now Boot, and Boot works with frontline as well. So
Right.
we built that into the shared PC integration. So when you log off, you get username, password, MFA, next shift worker can log on. And with Boot, you can as well then build a business case better for your use case, because if you don't have this, you need to pay like for 3 licenses, right? If you have this like frontline service, you can just purchase like 1 license. It's, as I said, a little bit more than a little bit more than just one single license, but you get all the benefits of just a personal cloud PC, Intune management, all the clients we have, Boot. So yeah, definitely one of those things that if you're into like a lot of these use cases in your business, definitely take a look at that.
It's not a frontline worker, it's more a productivity user who uses the license in a flex way.
Yeah, examples of this like, in hospitals and things like that,
Yeah.
nurses and stuff like going from one location to another, and you got a different shift. You got manufacturing, companies, right? Like factories and things like that. The workers coming in and out, in and out. This is amazing. It's brilliant.
Hey,
Great
think
use
about
case.
any scenario where there's a shared chair, right?
Mhm.
Somebody moves out and somebody else moves in, whether it is a physical
Right.
chair or a kiosk or a workstation, right? Frontline's a great utility for that. And as Christiaan mentioned, there's other use cases as well. Simply follow the sun kind of scenarios, or perhaps there's just a pool of users who need access to their cloud PC occasionally. So rather than having everybody buy a dedicated license, you can have a buy 100 licenses and 300 people can have access to it. And there's tons of cool features built around Frontline to manage that concurrency, because you can only have 100 concurrent. So if 101st person's trying to connect, there's a notification that goes out to the admin. The user gets a notice that they're waiting in a queue. Users that are using the machines that haven't done anything in a while get a notice that, like, hey, maybe you should shut this machine down. Like, there's tons of really cool innovation we built into to make it actually work well, and to hold that really high bar we have for that Windows 365 personal cloud PC experience. But you asked a question also about our partner community, and these events, as I mentioned earlier, are such a great opportunity for us because we have our customers here, we have the community here, and we have our partners here. In fact, there's a number of booths just looking down the hall from where we're sitting today where there's many partners who help shape and build the product and add additional value to the product. And so we really love the whole partner community. We started off when we built Azure Virtual Desktop, as I mentioned earlier, we're kind of a bootstrap team. And we didn't have enough resources to actually build the UX and build all the back-end stuff at the same time. So it really kicked off this whole community effort of building all these tools and such. And so we had these rich APIs. We really focused on creating that extensibility. So we defined a set of rich APIs, and it only took like maybe a month. And there was this huge collection of different tools and capabilities out there, and they've continued to evolve with us over these 4 years now. In fact, we're just a few hours away from the actual 4-year anniversary of when we hit the go button on Azure Virtual Desktop. So what an interesting timing to be here, right on the back of releasing Boot and Switch.
That's awesome.
And then our 4-year anniversary of AVD, and to think how far we've come with the community. In fact, some of our early members of the community are actually here at this event. We have about 4 or 5 of our very early MVPs. The people that sat in the room with us when we first started disclosing what we were building, and those guys say, you need to do this, and you need to do that. And now to see their voices heard, and to see that feedback from them and the rest of the community show up in the product, and then to see the results of that, in the Gartner MQ.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's no better way to celebrate, in an event like this where there's so many people that really played a role in that.
Yeah.
So let's finish up.
Yep.
I think we need to start with Windows 365. Not tomorrow, but today.
Okay.
It is definitely time.
Yep.
So thank you for being here on the show and inform our people what you have done on the keynote, but also what the direction is with Windows 365 AVD and desktop as a service in general. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank
Cheers.
you.